Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. And it's mind-blowing to me right now that it came out 20 years ago already, because this was Disney's first PG-13 rated movie. And Jerry Bruckheimer did a fantastic job of balancing the PG rating, because if you mess around with that rating too much, the rating could definitely become rated R. I'm sorry. That was...
He walks the black.
Welcome to List. This is a show where we pluck out a name out of Geeks and Joysticks podcast YouTube channel watch list, watch it, and review it for your viewing pleasure. The movie we're scratching off the list today is a 2003 Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Blacksmith William Turner teams up with an eccentric pirate, Captain Jack Sparrow, to save his love, the governor's daughter, from Jack's former pirate allies who are now undead. Man, I loved this movie growing up, man. Like, I saw it a bunch of times because I owned it. I saw it in the theater. I love that ride. It's my favorite ride. And it's mind-blowing to me right now that it came out 20 years ago already. I mean, I bought this shirt when it came out. Can you see it? I love this shirt. It's one of my favorites. It's vintage now, literally. But I love the trilogy. The other two movies are mad dumb. They don't really count in my mind. Actually, Steven Spielberg was interested at one point in directing this movie. And in Spielberg's version, he had Bill Murray, Robin Williams, and Steve Martin as potential Jack Sparrows. What? No way. What are we doing? This was so early on that Disney wasn't even interested in making it a full-fledged movie yet. Then around 2001, Disney started to come around a little bit and they start getting ideas to make it into something, but that something was a straight to DVD movie with either Cary Elwes or Christopher Walken as Captain Jack Sparrow. But these were the straight to DVD Captain Sparrows that they had in mind, which is weird. They eventually did set their eyes in making this a full-fledged production, and when they did, they only had one person in mind, Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Also, while they were writing the script, they were thinking of Hugh Jackman, but he wasn't a big enough star yet. He had not done any of the Wolverines, so I kind of get it. Jim Carrey was offered the role, but he was doing Bruce Almighty at the time, so he passed. And even Michael Keaton was considered. But then, Monsieur Johnny Depp tested for the role and provided a whole different perspective they weren't even thinking about for the movie. They originally have Sparrow as like this perfect good guy, heroic pirate dude, and Depp decided to play him really weird, kind of drunk half the time, and really hyped on his own legend, really. And he even used Rolling Stone legend Keith Richards and another canceled legend in Pepe Le Pew as inspirations. So at first, Disney's higher ups were like, nah, we're not down with this weird Jack Sparrow Depp is doing. They thought he was doing too much, and Depp was like, all right, we'll take it or leave it. And they took it and made a lot of dyers. For Barbossa, Robert De Niro was considered. Every time I say someone is considered for like an old guy, Robert De Niro is considered. But he was also considered for Barbossa. He was actually offered, and he declined because he didn't think the movie would have much success. For Will Turner, Jude Law was considered. Tom Hiddleston was considered. Heath Ledger, R.I.P., was considered. And Tobes McGobes himself, Tobey Maguire, was also considered. But ultimately, they went with Orlando Bloom because they saw him in the Lord of the Rings series. For Elizabeth, Jessica Alba auditioned, but they ultimately went for 17-year-old Keira Knightley. So, to say the least, this was a pretty star-studded cast, I think, even for the time. You had Depp, you had Orlando Bloom. I'm not sure if Keira was like a full-fledged star by that point, but you got Jeffrey Rush. So, already, you're off to a good start. While watching the movie, I actually forgot about the huge age difference between Elizabeth and Commodore Norrington. It's pretty wild. Like, he's a grown-ass man and looking at this child, and then 17 years later, he's all like, I love you. And I'm like, ew, gross. I also forgot Zoe Saldana was in this. She comes up and slaps the shit out of Johnny Depp. I mean, I'm pretty sure Pirates is $1 billion franchise. You got Bangers, $1 billion franchise, and Avatar, $1 billion franchise. Why isn't Zoe Saldana in more stuff? Hollywood, you stupid. But she was actually kind of put off from her experience during the set. This was one of her first motion pictures, but due to the mega production and the amount of actors, she kind of felt shunned a little. But later on, producer Jerry Bruckheimer actually apologized to her and kind of made it right. There's a whole bunch of iconic scenes for me. Like even the way you see Jack Sparrow the very first time, he's very, very cool. But then you zoom out and he's in like a dingy little goofy ass boat. That represents the character of himself. He thinks he's this grand thing, and there's this whole legend going across the whole seas, but ultimately he's a dingy boat. Depp improvised a bunch of lines. He improvised the very last line of the movie.
Now, bring me that horizon.
Which actually spawned some sort of rock band. He also inspired like his famous line.
Savvy.
I did notice that he had some sort of scar right here on his jawline. That scar becomes bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the series. I don't never really noticed it before, but that is actually a joke between Depp and the makeup artist saying that Jack Sparrow is suffering from syphilis. So you can see it progress through the later movies. Now, I know what I'm going to say. It's going to be wild, but it's just, we have to consider this, right? I truly believe Johnny Depp is one of the greatest actors of all time. I know. Hold on. I get that. That sounds mad. I get it. But I just give him a ton of points for trying something different in every single character. Most of Depp's characters are wildly different. And he's never afraid of going extra mile and doing something crazy in his performances. And I personally give that more points towards a great actor than an actor who does a very good job, but it's one note. Like he's the same guy in every movie, and everybody's like, he's so great. Well, yeah, because he's been doing the same guy his whole career. Of course it's great. He's been doing it for 20 years. So just for that, we have to put him in some sort of top something list. Johnny Depp as one of the great actors of all time. Don't know where. 50 for sure. 20? I don't know. 20? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments down below. Am I tripping or what? But speaking of one of the greatest actors of all time, Jeffrey Rush as Captain Barbossa is also fantastic and brilliant. His whole vibe, he really feels like a pirate. The way he's just barking out orders.
What are you looking at? Back to work.
And he plays beautifully off of Depp. I feel like in a movie with villains, the movie is only as good as the battle between good and evil. And the good in this movie is Will and Elizabeth, and the evil is Captain Barbossa, and Sparrow is somewhere in the middle. That's just a recipe for a great movie. Because this was Disney's first PG-13 rated movie. And Jerry Bruckheimer did a fantastic job of balancing the PG rating. He did everything that needed to be done within the rating. He was never too violent, but he was also violent and scary, like blowing guys, not heads off, but blowing a guy straight back, getting shot at. Because if you mess around with that rating too much, the rating could definitely become rated R. I'm sorry. That was...
He walks a plank.
I don't know where to go. Also, the music is fantastic and iconic, recognizable, fun. It was written by Hans Zimmer, who's a legend, especially in Disney World and outside of Disney World. He's fantastic. Fighting choreography and the stunts are also fun, and they get better as the series goes on, something similar to what we see with John Wick, where each movie they try to top themselves. Again, I'm only talking about the first three. But the Will and Jack fight is fun. The Barbossa and Jack fight at the end is cool, where they're coming in and out of becoming skeleton guys is awesome. And the sword fighting looks legit, mainly because they use the same guy who was in the Darth Vader suit to choreograph and train everybody. And Jeffrey Rush got so obsessed about the sword fighting that he had the stunt coordinators up to here with all his shenanigans. Speaking about the skeleton crew, they don't look bad. They're still believable in a way, and they do the job. And they were done by ILM, Industrial Light and Magic. I didn't know that there was a Mickey in the moon, so that was a cool Easter egg. Shout out to Mickey. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when he says, "Thank you, Jack."
Well, thank you, Jack.
You're welcome.
Not you. We named the monkey Jack.
And actually, the smile from the monkey was not planned. It was just by chance. But it's so perfect. I could have swore there was somebody behind camera making the monkey smile. But no, the monkey just smiled. And it fits perfectly. Even the monkey did a great job. Again, all the characters are so captivating that even towards the end, I completely missed like the cowboy guy. There's a guy with a cowboy hat who was a member of the crew just chilling in the back scene. Your eyes are always so drawn to Johnny Depp and as Jack Sparrow that I completely missed it, but he's right there chilling at the back at the very end of the movie. So this movie almost didn't happen because the movie Country Bears, which was also based on a ride, Michael Eisner, at the time the head of Disney, almost shut the whole production down because that movie was so bad and not received that well. And also because up until then, there had not really been a huge successful movie outside of a couple movies. Even as much as I love this movie, I think out of the three, it's my least favorite, which is a good thing because when you have and build a franchise, you want it to grow. You want it to be better. You want the next one to be better than the last. And honestly, I definitely think that the next two movies expand on this world and then again goes crazy. Like, nada que ver, like, que pedo, o sea, en pinches mentas mamás, Penelope Cruz, like, que pedo. This is like my Indiana Jones growing up. But speaking of Indiana Jones, we've actually done an episode for Indiana Jones right here on the list. I'm going to leave it for you right over here, and we're eventually going to do the other one. So they're going to be listed over here as well. Make sure you go over there and clickety-clacky-clack. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And always and forever, you do you.